All right, guys, it's a best of 5. Whoever wins this qualifies into the Safe House 2, a StarCraft tournament with already over $2,000 in prize pool for these players. One player will advance, the other will fall down to the lower bracket for a second chance, and the last chance to qualify. And it is happening next week, October 18th and 19th. Bottom left, we have FoxeR. Top right, it is eGGZ. I was saying during the break, this is a rematch. Last week, these two played in a semifinal, I believe. It's a best of 3, and eGGZ won, I think 2-0. But while one of the games I would say was quite one-sided, the mech game that FoxeR played kind of looked like FoxeR hadn't played mech in a while, or hadn't played mech for any, longer than like 10 minutes in a while. The second game was actually very promising for FoxeR with a bio Hellbat. It was a Hellbat push, and then bio play after. And that was good. He just wasn't able to really continue macroing as well as one would need. I'm just going to double check I am talking about the right game. I am. Okay, yeah. It was in the losers round 4. Anyway, so I was saying that I do think FoxeR is playing better today. Last week, when these TVZs got over 7-8 minutes, FoxeR was making a lot of macro mistakes. I mean, I really do think that was why he lost both games. Because the early and mid game looked quite good for FoxeR. And then just started to really slip, which gave time for eGGZ to kind of do a very Zergy thing of extreme macro, extreme technology into, finally actually letting him produce units. So eGGZ was hampered, he was injured, but he had this time to actually get to Hive, to get to Ultras, and things sprout out of control. If FoxeR can improve on that, he can have the same good early to mid game that he had in their last best of 3, but then either actually kill eGGZ first, or second, just macro better into the late game. I think he has a really strong chance to not upset necessarily, but yeah, reverse the situation that was last week's. He did just play versus a Zerg too, so a little more warmed up there, but it was a Zerg who was cheesy and aggressive. I loved it. But that does also, technically we didn't really get to see what 15 plus minutes looked like for FoxeR. We had one game that was getting that direction, but then it entered a base trade, and that was still, in my opinion, a better looking macro FoxeR than last week's, even though I ended up losing that versus Eon. So, TLDR, eGGZ did win last time, maybe the favorite, but if FoxeR is playing better, then I think eGGZ could be in some trouble if he ends up taking the damage he does in the early to mid. So, yeah. FoxeR did go for a mech game last week. It really looked great for the first 8 to 10 minutes. Then wasn't as aggressive with Cyclones as one would expect. Then wasn't prepared for the Broodlord transition, and then it really just spiraled out of control. I'm not sure that was the game that FoxeR wants to repeat. Although I think he would play mech better as well. FoxeR was at one point a guy who I really thought of as a mech player, but I think that is no longer the case. I have seen someone, by the way, kind of, mentioning StarCraft history here. FoxeR equals Marine King Prime. Marine King did name himself Boxer initially in StarCraft 2, in which, people were like, hey, you can't do that. You don't deserve that name. And then Boxer actually played StarCraft 2, so that was really awkward. Then he changed his name to FoxeR, so this is a reference to Marine King. But FoxeR has been FoxeR for so long. He might have had another name way back when. I don't remember. But he's been FoxeR for a long time. 2 Hellion Reaper, now 4 Hellion, and going up to 6 most likely, as you do have Banshees on the way with pinwheels, so speedy Banshees as the priority. Does grab a creep tumor, but sacrifices a Hellion for it. My bad, missing that. Fast Evolution Chipper from eGGZ. Fast +1 Carapace. Is scouting, not revealing anything quite yet. Overlord is now going to dip in and see the 3rd CC. It might get sight on the tech lab. It should. Where is the Marine? Ah, yeah, it should get sight on the tech lab. 7 Hellions now. Not a lot of Lings. I don't know if FoxeR's really eager to go super aggressive with the Hellions, though. He's thinking about it, and he's like, well, maybe. But that is a lot of creep spread to go through with maybe more Lings than he would want behind it. He does go after the creep tumors, though. Again, sacrificing another Hellion, but I like that, actually. I think the creep spread so far has been... There's games where you look at the Terran killing the creep tumor and you're just like, okay, well, you can say you did that, but does it really matter? I don't know. But I actually kind of like how much you must be annoying eggs. Hatchery under fire by the Banshee. It's great to send your Banshee here first and foremost, because occasionally you do find this just building, which means the Banshee can get the cancel. Even if it doesn't have cloak, and this does not have cloak. Cancel has to happen. One Banshee, though, might die. That's dangerous stuff, dangerous stuff. It's both Banshees alive. They are useful for the rest of the game. If they had cloak, could have absolutely stayed in this position. Well, for a little while longer anyway. And then maybe he did have the Hellion Banshee combination that would have threatened another cancel. But without cloak, not as much. And that is that's now a decision apparently Terrans can make. They can either go into cloak and what benefits that grants them, or into speed and what benefits that grant them, which speed being more of just the kind of hit and run tactics. Unless I caught you without an Overseer or a Spore. Big ol' Ling run by set up, but this is where Banshees being kept alive is so freaking useful. Case in flippin' point. Banshee on the right, Banshee on the left. Do you want to make Banshees and Banshee speed? Which he canceled, by the way. I was like, wait a minute, they don't look speedy. I like the cancel. Did he make 2 Banshees just to be spotters? Not usually. You know, they already got a cancel on a hatchery, and if they are just spotters from beyond that, then I think that's okay. Obviously, it is bio up against eggs going into Ling, Baneling, Hydra. I did prioritize the Carapace, so that's already done. And so working on +2. Looking like a solid setup for a macro game. I really do think it is important for FoxeR to get to this comfortable position. Sure, yeah. He was able to do that before. But to keep on the macro. When we see things start to get a little more action-packed. The run-bys start happening, the engagements start happening, the drops start happening. That'll be the biggest difference of whether or not FoxeR can beat eggs. Does his macro stay good? Does it, does he keep it under like 600 minerals? Because I think if he did that in those other games, he would have won. The mech game was a little different, but the bio game, yes, for sure, it was a macro that ended up killing him. This is an 8 racks, by the way. No 4th command center. No 2nd factory. 8 racks aggression. Eggs, I don't know if he knows about this. He did not end up getting all those run-bys that could have shown him a lack of 4th command center. Not a ton of creeps on that left side either. Ling Baneling is available. Hydra's starting to get added in, but not too many of them. Hellbat's going to help out. 1-1 to just 1. Egg setting up for a big ol' surround. The Banshees will at least scout that. We'll die for it, but it scouts it. Tanks on the backside not super protected, but they are going to tank some of those Banelings. Does one tank survive? Yes, it does. On the other side, we also had Egg's attack. Try to come over with a big old surround. Did take out some units, but this is the tricky thing. Terran 8 racks, especially. If you run out of Banelings, and there are that many Marines left over, you could just die. Egg's desperately trying to get more Banelings, but only 4 is not a very healthy number. 2nd tank is now here. Marines are going to be off of creep this time. 3rd tank is now here. The Banelings do need to be focus fire. There they go. Focus fire is good from the Marines. Now, there's a lot of Queen Hydra left over, to be fair, so that is a little tankier. The Marines themselves not going to be able to finish this game. Probably, most likely. I mean, he's trying to make the stand happen, but that +2 Carapace really working some wonders as well. +1 melee now going to finish 2. FoxeR is halfway to 2-2. He is on an 8 racks. He will be just continuing to send Marines, hoping to tire out eggs. But it looks like FoxeR may already be tired out. Does decide to go back home. He was building a 4th on location during that. Thankfully, it is done, so he could lift it and he beat. Does not have to. This is a very important pause in the aggression. Although it does not kill FoxeR, I mean, just because he pulls back once, it does give a lot of breathing room to Eggs, who's managed to defend his 4th, has a 5th, and has his army being built up again. That scary moment where he was desperately getting to Banelings again. No longer a scary moment. He can freely get Banelings when he wants. 2-2 is still going to be a scary timing on the follow-up. FoxeR won't have as many factory units as if this was a macro game, though. There we go, targeting the Banelings once again. So that won't ever be a super scary amount. But if he keeps them alive, 5 tanks offensively positioned before Eggs has Hive and Spellcasters. And 2/2 bio. That's tough. Gonna be abusing this ledge right here. Eggs, though, probably predicting that to some sense. Already had a couple of attacks set up himself. Going towards the 4th base, going towards the natural. FoxeR not quite prepared for this, does not have enough reinforcements in the natural at all. Is going to be forced to pull back some of his army to deal with it. Planetary barely lives, but he's not repairing it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, he repairs. Woo! And the Banelings do crash into the 3rd as well. The supply depots go down, but this looks like a hole to me. FoxeR loses 24 SCVs, but he's on 4 bases. He has 100 army supply to 68. Banelings not taking efficient trades, although they do make some connections. Hot diggity damn, that planetary. Oh my god. That is such a big difference, too. That is so big. That is so many Banelings that are kind of wasted. Yeah, you have to spend money to repair, too, but Planetary once again going to be under fire. Repair is going to have to happen again, but it will happen. Target firing the Banelings. Is he going to be able to hold on to it? Just barely not. This time around, it does fall. FoxeR has got to go for the counter at this point, though. There has never been a better opportunity. Eggs sacrificed a lot of army for the first attempt to kill the planetary. Now, the second attempt worked, but he lost so many units, down 40 army supply. Up against 2/2 bio with 3 tanks. That is a lot. He is certainly going to lose this base. He probably will lose that hatchery. And the question is, can he survive? Good lord, on creep. The Banelings try and make connections, but it won't be good enough. FoxeR is going for the win. He sees the opportunity, and he is going to barely be able to get it. One last second split is all he needs, and he is going to win. Eggs does not have enough of an army at this point. He is going to be reinforcing into the Marines, and that is not going to be good enough. FoxeR drastically improving from the last week, I gotta say. He looks so much cleaner. He looks really on point on the macro. He handled 2-pronged aggression quite well, and he is rewarded with game 1. In the top right, showing the power of the 8 racks, he is FoxeR. In the bottom left, we do have Eggs. Eggs played that well, too. I loved his setups. I feel like that was, like, this is, like, the way the Eggs played is a good way to copy as far as, you know, prepping for the mid-game. Making sure you are mindful of always having a run-by. Obviously, doing everything macro-wise, you have to. Drones, hatchery, creep spread, sure. But making sure you had those run-bys. Making sure you had something that might have caught the reinforcements, which did happen at least once. I didn't highlight it. And then I love the counter-aggression. I do think at the end of the day, it ended up failing Eggs a lot because that planetary didn't fall with the first round of Banelings, though. But I really like what he was doing. It's just that I think last week, FoxeR would have done well against, like, the first run-by, but then mishandled the second, then just lost all his limes on the attack on his planetary, you know, wouldn't have saved it. Like, he just was, I think, last week not playing his absolute best macro TDZ. And then this time we see very few glaring spots, right? I mean, last week, you know, I don't like to just be here and be like, well, FoxeR, you banked 300 minerals instead of 0 minerals. But last week it was pretty extreme. You know, you would look during some of the chaotic moments and there'd be like 1,500 minerals. And that's just, that will kill you at this stage. This is a much cleaner looking FoxeR. I think Eggs has to be quite scared. Because Eggs was playing, I think, about as what I expected from him from last week. Certainly wasn't expecting the proxy hatch, but with the drone, there was really no other option. No one drone scouts to do nothing with it in this matchup. So that's interesting. FoxeR, obviously seeing it, should know about it. Like, again, there's no other way. There's no other reason really to drone scout. You would only ever see a drone scout if the Zerg player was 100% almost that they were going to 2-rax them, you know? And this, I think a bunker is worth it, yeah. Okay, he's making a bunker. You could also try and pull the SCVs and then out DPS the building of the hatchery. I don't really think that's, I mean, it is an option, but I don't think it's worth it, the lost mining time. It's obviously a different case when you talk about Protoss in this hatchery, because Protoss can't build their Nexus and then lift it. So they do need to kill it as soon as they find it. And in this case, making sure that this dies in a good amount of time. Making sure that there's no follow-up that is scarier to this, I think, is the next thing you got to be worried about. Eggs chooses not to complete it. That's a wide decision. Will not keep the drone alive for very much longer. FoxeR might as well just keep the bunker here. I don't think it doesn't block the command center. Of course it doesn't. It didn't block the hatchery. So yeah, just leave it. Not quite a good reason to salvage it yet. And then get that Reaper across the map to see what the hell the follow-up is. The follow-up is nothing scary. The follow-up is drones. Third hatch, speed on the way. At the end of the day, kind of an odd opener from Eggs. Or I guess just wasn't expecting to have his drone scouted. It might seem crazy, but you can surprise a Terran with a proxy hatch. The Reaper goes down the Reaper ledge. Their OCV scout. And suddenly a hatchery's done and you're like, ah, no. But, you know, for what this would actually happen, I mean, this was not great for Eggs. Oh well. Who's that girl waving? Hi. You can have sprays in StarCraft 2. I know some people haven't played it in a while. Some people just didn't realize it was a thing, and I really don't blame them, to be honest. But you do have the option of adding a spray to your worker, and there's a little spray button on the worker. Y, I think, is default. Little Hellion Reaper micro. 2 drones being killed, and no unit lost on the side of FoxeR. I gotta say, he's playing very well. Fast Evolution Chamber once again for Eggs. He likes that fast Carapace. Viking is coming out for FoxeR. So it doesn't look like he's gonna... Yeah, he's definitely not gonna be going into Banshees after this. So the Viking's gonna open up the drop pathways. Been a little bit of a nuisance that Zerg players don't typically deal with anymore as well. So sometimes they do lose, let's say, 3 Overlords instead of just the 1. I don't know if that's gonna happen here, but it can. You can't add custom images to the spray. No. Right? No. Right? No. I'm pretty sure you can't. It is actually just they put some of these emotes in StarCraft 2. If they allowed custom sprays, I mean, they allow custom decals, which is why I did have to second guess. But I don't think so. Link Baneling once again here for Eggs. That is a lot of Hellions finding a very open opportunity at the third. Quick pull away on the drones, though. It's going to mitigate the damage. FoxeR, though, getting away again. Scot-free. Even has enough firepower to go after this. Oh, he's going to see the Liberator. Oh, so aggressively, too. So the Queens have to walk back. They can't walk forward. Nice moves here from FoxeR. The Liberator will go down, but so will 3 Queens. And a handful of Lings to boot. That's a lot of Hellions. Even trying to get a surround against this is a little scary for the Zerg player. A lot of them are weak. Many of them are finally going down, and this will be cleaned up. But it did take a long time. It did cost him... oh, that was a kill, not a cancel. Didn't even notice. Shit. No, wait, that was... No, yeah, there it was. Or was his proxy hatch a kill, not a cancel? I didn't notice. No, he definitely canceled. He had the drone. Yeah, okay. Very painful. Very painful. Eggs not having a good time in the beginning. Again, this happened last week where Eggs did not have a great start. FoxeR was unable to still finish the game, though. So I'm not counting Eggs out at all. But this is a very rough start. Because even after he killed the Hellions, again, it took so long. It's not like he gets an immediate counter in which the Marine counts low and the SCVs are vulnerable. The Hellions really, frankly, they did their job. Do you want the Hellbats for the 8 racks? Which it looks like FoxeR is doing again. Yeah, if you had a choice, but say, Livy, you still got a killed hatchery. Hopefully not another one. This one is just building, but it's a little healthier, and Eggs is clearly paying attention. He's going to go ahead and cancel it, though. Does not want to risk it. It's a very dangerous hatchery to take, however. You know, Marines can touch it, sure. Oh, he's gonna. Nope, you don't even get it. You're not even getting this. This will kill the blue and leave the gold. I feel like... Okay, this is about to be a cat fight. I'm gonna have to get up and take care of things. But anyway, like that base seems like such a difficult one to actually protect, whether it's an 8 racks or not. It is an 8 racks. We are getting a faster second factory, though, so not quite the same situation as last game. Eggs has a 4th base, just elsewhere. He's just trying to get his 5th up. No macro hatchery. He does have one in the natural. Okay. He's still lane base. He's going to grab infestors this time around. His hive is already done. Ultralisk Cavern is on the way. He is trying to get to a lot of technology against someone who is trying to kill him right now. And it's not impossible to do, but it is difficult. Ling run by, gonna try and buy some time or deal some significant damage. Marines are holed up in the natural. The banelings are there. FoxeR now gets a bit of a heads up, but he is microing on the other side. Is he gonna micro back at home as well? Banelings will crash into the SCVs, but they will not crash into the army. So that is the trade we're talking about. Eggs desperately holding back at home. Does have the infestors pop. He kills 23 SCVs with his run by, but I would say that's actually acceptable for FoxeR keeping his army alive and for this not causing a lot of chaos. He can go back to focusing on the front lines, though focusing against infestors is still kind of difficult to do. What am I trying to pop off? Doing a lot of friendly fire as well. And that was not the fight that FoxeR was necessarily wanting. He's going to try and just hammer this with units, you know, like not so much the finesse of the units, but just enough units. And I don't know if that's working here. Lings, not without the upgrades, but without banelings, are not going to be good enough. FoxeR, maybe he was right. Continuing to rush forward. This is the army that was not killed by the baneling run-by. It is coming in and potentially killing eggs right here. What might helps to lead the banelings that are in production. One ultra is on the way without chitinous plating. Just that +2 carapace. Queens are dying. Last infestors focus fire down. FoxeR once again sees the open opportunity to win this game, and he is not going to let it go. Killing every last baneling, and the one ultra should not be enough. Not against the Marines. In this number, although it is a little scary, a hatchery is going to fall. Drones have fallen. FoxeR is... He's already rebuilt the SCVs that he's lost, and he is building a 4th command center, which is now done. Overlords are falling too. Eggs going to be supply blocked. One Ultra and Dream. FoxeR seems to have found the secret ingredient to defeating eggs, and that is the 8 racks. Well executed. Is overstimmed, is injured, is forced to pick up, but eggs is on only 3 base, 57 drones. How many Ultras can he afford? Not that many. And since this is an 8 racks, FoxeR already has 3 extra barracks that can add on tech labs, so at least he can get to a healthy Marauder count. Ghosts are going to be a ways off, sure, but right now, I think he just needs Marauders. This will continue as a drop, which eggs will struggle to defend. No scouting, no creep spread over on that right side. 4th base is not yet a planetary, but there's army ready. It's at home, and he does pick up in time on the offensive. Eggs' left side creep spread is getting kind of crazy, to be fair. But that's the only place the creep is getting out of control. Middle as well. Can FoxeR actually let this go? I don't think so. If he just plays it calm, I think he's got this. 1 drop to count the bases, bother eggs a little bit, and then build to maxed. Make sure your macro is looking good. Don't get supply block, extra base, Liberator protecting the choke. 3-3 should also be remembered. He's like, do I use the fungal? Not now. Double drop and a quad drop over to the right side. There's a lot of units, not at home, but he has a lot of units. So many more than his opponent. Eggs has a run-by setup, but FoxeR isn't leaving his home base undefended. Now abusing some of the ledge against the Ultras, but more so distraction. Gets another kill on this base. Eggs tries to go for the run by, but so much army was left at home. The reinforcements, definitely good enough. This drop, not finding a lot of success. This, finding a lot. Even finding the lings coming back home. And now we have 100 supply difference. Creep spread, ultras, infestors. That's what Eggs has got. That's what he's going to use. Scan ahead reveals really not a very big army. We do finally have the Ghost Academy on the way. I certainly don't think he needed to expedite that. Liberators were also going to be a great addition against this army. And frankly, I feel like an easier addition. Don't have to wait for the Ghost Academy. Don't have to get to a decent number of ghosts. One Liberator and a choke is already pretty damn scary. Spire's on the way for Eggs. He tries to play out this macro game. He is back up to 4 bases, but only at 47. Make that 49 drones. Gets Burrow. Overlord Speed. I mean, maybe... Yeah, Widow Mines and maybe the Ghosts eventually are going to be a problem for the Overseers. Creep spread finally getting cleared. Very... It looks like an aggressive planetary. It's not. FoxeR's maxed out. He's getting all these upgrades. He's getting the fusion core upgrades as well. He does want to push at some point before Eggs is also maxed out. We're nowhere close. We're nowhere close, but just throwing it out there. Would he win if he just hopes that Eggs throws army at him? Yes. Would he win if Eggs just threatens to throw army at him and then actually gets, 80, 90 drones, 7 bases behind it? Well, that's where things start to get a little more questionable. It would still be the Terran turtling far ahead of the Zerg player. Like the pace of this game, just out of control in favor of FoxeR. But it's a question basically of you could kill him now, most likely. Barring any extreme slip-ups. You could kill him now. Versus... You could try to kill him in an elongated turtle TVZ in which he would be able to get to a maxed out supply with his own upgrades, his ability to tech swap, and his own, theoretically perfect army. Good target fire on the Viper. Eggs still cannot afford to just throw away units. Fungal's nearly catching a handful of Marines. Making sure these SCVs are bothered by the infestors. FoxeR has so much room on the map, though. He does get another drop off to the right side to kill a 5th base. So he's going to make sure that Eggs does not sneak an economy without his knowledge. Goes for the drones as well. Seeing some Corruptors, yeah, that could be a response to the Liberators. But whether they're there for that or not, they're also obviously going to have the ability to turn into Broodlords. Those are good Fungals. That is a lot of bio taken down very efficiently. FoxeR has plenty of minerals and gas to replace it. Oh, what am I? Finally, this creep spread well and truly being cleaned up. Are Broodlords the scariest thing in the world? Well, isn't that a hot topic for debate? Isn't it? Isn't it? No, I don't think they are. I mean, I think they are. I'm terrible at controlling ghosts, but for most good Terran players, when they are in this position, turtling up on would-be 6 bases almost, getting all their upgrades, having Liberator with range as well as Ghost, as well as Bio, as well as Medivacs. Like, this is the prime defensive position a Terran would want. So, like, the Broodlords are not so scary. They are better. They're slower, but they are better. I don't know if they're better as in they're good now, though. The Ghosts are light, which we haven't really seen the dynamic in this game so far. To me, I will absolutely think of the... so goodbye, Ghosts. If the Terran player is running away from Ling Baneling, and then the Banelings barely connect with the Ghosts... FoxeR does kind kind of officially now, right? He's definitely going for like the turtle into win. So unfortunately, like the fact is there was 100 supply difference at one point, and that would typically be an A move. But FoxeR is a bit hesitant going against. There was a lot of creep spread on most of the map, just not the right side. There were spellcasters. He has lost a very good game in the late game versus eGGZ before. But it does give eGGZ, I would say, more chances of winning this game than if he had just moved out. He couldn't have known there was a 100 supply difference, just to be super clear. But, yeah. The longer this game goes, the more opportunities there are for eGGZ to make up for the first 18 minutes. If it gets a 45-minute game, it's less about the first 18 minutes, I guess. It's not totally without it, but it's less about it. And if the Zerg player does end up getting, you know, all the bases they would want, even maybe taking the opponent's bases too, they do get to 10,000 resources. Like, they're scary. FoxeR went after one Broodlord, did get the kill, but then lost a couple of his own units. I do think this, like, I talk about the late game kind of equalizing the situation, which I would still argue it does more than if FoxeR had moved out. But, you know, this is never going to be an ideal late game for the Zerg because it was 18 minutes of being so far behind. I think there are chances now for eGGZ. But it's not ideal because FoxeR has managed to get up as many bases as he has without big losses. It does seem like he's going to get this corner base as well. And Zerg players, you know, if they are thinking super long term, they are thinking, I literally need more resources than my Terran opponent. Just literally how it works. And there's a finite number of resources on a map. So you gotta start trading somewhat well. Or you're gonna start, you know, taking bases away. Snipes do come down. Some ultras fell. Fungal did stop some of them. But this is really the ultimate composition for Terran. Maybe some Hellbats, honestly, actually. But yeah, pretty ultimate composition. We even have Vikings, which you could say they're not really necessary versus Broodlords, but in this case, they're bullying the heck out of them. Double Night Swarm in the main base. So far, undetected. FoxeR with no reinforcements. He is entirely capped on supply. What is going to be coming out of that? Lings with adrenal glands. Tons of damage on the production. No doubt about it. FoxeR, what does he do in this situation? Does he let this carnage just ransack his base? Or, well, he's trying to respond. He's going to find the Zerg army already depleted thanks to some Widow Mines, and it just ran into a whole heck of a lot of ghosts. They got so many snipes. Those ultras were deleted, man. These are drones, not lings, so that command center is safe, I guess. Yes, the production is torn to shreds, but so is eGGZ supply. Oh my god, eGGZ saw an opportunity. He's like, yeah, I got the Night Swarm. Let's go for more damage. Started to send the rest of the army in, and the army did not survive. That was not the engagement he wanted. And FoxeR's patience has won out. He was, I think, really, you know, in this situation, hoping that the Zerg player just makes one super, super big mistake. So then you can, even more confidently than before, say, okay, I can win this game. I can counterattack and win. Killing all the infestors with Lil's drop as well. I mean, if FoxeR doesn't move out now, I don't know, I guess he, you know, just goes to show how cautious he is, perhaps because of the games he played last week. Now I would say eGGZ has zero chance to make a comeback happen. It's kind of believer when he was, you know, gonna play maybe the runaround game, lose a hatchery, you know, expand over there, take this gold, never give up his army, Nidus Worm, run by, harass his way to victory. But the battle is... I think this battle is done. eGGZ. We'll find a planetary almost for free. That's nice. There's no way. Oh, that must have been a misclick. Or flex, I don't know. There's no way for eGGZ to recover here. eGGZ did not get Microbial Shroud. That would not have helped in that battle. It wouldn't have helped, I think, in any battle thus far. Mostly because I think the way that this was Eggs was maxed out. He had an army that could maybe jump on FoxeR if FoxeR was mispositioned, not paying attention if his ghosts were fungled. But he didn't actually have an army that was actually going to win a fight, you know? And so, if you're going to just be kind of like touching and going, trying more so to get Nidus Worms and run-bys where the army isn't, you know, Microbial Shroud isn't that helpful. Eventually, if Eggs did not give away a lot of army again and, you know, never get a good economy, could Microbial Shroud have helped a more direct engagement? I don't know, maybe. But I'm not sure there was a point in this game where it would have helped. Socks are toying with Eggs? I don't know. I don't think so. Just because I don't know. Maybe I'm just too empathetic. I'm a Terran at heart, and I know how many games I've lost going up against late game Zerg. In a very good position, but then just moving and not controlling my ghost well at all. Another Nidus Worm. Production was replaced, so this is no longer the gotcha. All these buildings go down. No Overseer. The ghosts are getting some free damage done, just like the Overseer as well. He used the one nuke that he got and isn't replacing it. If the ghosts have to win me a battle, I've already lost. That's also where I'm at. Cracklings being the biggest damage dealers in this game. Giving me the most hope. FoxeR is on 10,000 minerals, 4,000 gas, though. So, you know. Can Cracklings beat that? FoxeR will not have to worry about rebuilding for quite a while yet. He saves the command center with some mules. Will not save this command center, nor will he save the Liberators. But Eggs is still 70 supply down. Eggs refuses to give up, and FoxeR refuses to get out on the map, basically. I mean, just does not want to be wombo comboed. Raider just ran. This might have been from, I don't know, battles and battles ago. Okay, Eggs is going to tap out. FoxeR will win game 2 after 26 minutes. And now leads the score 2-0. And in case you forgot, because I kind of did, that was because of the 8 racks. Yep. This could be the final game. Top left, it is FoxeR up 2-0. Bottom right, it is Eggs. Both games really decided by the 8 racks attack. On last game, there was also the Hellions killing a hatchery. But there was the 8 racks that looked just seconds away from really truly winning the game. Eggs barely hung on. Wasn't going to give up without a fight. The FoxeR was not going to attack him either, despite some pretty severe supply differences. Which we know and FoxeR does not, but I imagine FoxeR knew at one time or another how far ahead he was. But FoxeR didn't want to end the game by being aggressive, wanted to end the game by being defensive. Feels like Egg kind of cut his losses towards the end of that last game too. There was no way he was making a comeback happen. Unlike the first comeback he kind of had to make, where he was able to get maxed out again and he was able to get, you know, some economy going. That was not happening second time around. So, but it kind of all starts with the 8 racks. If Eggs can hold that better, maybe he can, you know, get his own game here. And they've been very close. Just seems like FoxeR really has Eggs not figured out, because I don't think that was the problem last week, but it does feel like he has a certain amount of setup. There we go. Setup for eggs, like the run buys. He's handled very well. And then just making sure his macro works too. So FoxeR in a brilliant position to qualify into safe house from the upper bracket. Eggs would have another shot in the lower bracket against some of the remaining players. We do have Maples versus Mute officially happening in the second to last lower bracket match. So loser of this will face winner of that. Oof. Quick third hatch. FoxeR did SCV scout. Reaper goes in the main, not going to find a drone. Might find a Ling. Another third CC build from FoxeR as well. He did add in a Hellbat attack in the last week's best of 3 versus eggs. That was pretty good. I think it was 2 base though, not 3 base. Oh, this was the scouting SCV, just rallied back home. Second barracks is already on the way. So he's going to go into a quicker 2-on-1 follow-up after 4 Hellions. And with eggs, not showing much early game aggression. He did do a block hatch or proxy hatch attempt maybe in the last game. Didn't work out. Otherwise, not much in the early game. So I don't think FoxeR is that worried about being attacked. But he is making sure to scout appropriately. At the SCV scout with the Reaper still alive as well. Heading over to the Zelnaga by the looks of things. A little damage being done on the hatchery, as well as a little scouting. See how many drones starting to populate it. 1 Ling got in. And was able to see Hellions, and that is it. Overlord saw a third gas. Doesn't reveal very much. I'd rather be able to see the main base. Which, without any supply depots, he knows it's the third CC thanks to that Ling, but he doesn't know if it's a 1-1-1, 2-1-1, if it's bio, or if it's mech. FoxeR literally left 1 Hellion back at home. Interesting. 1 Hellion hardly does much, but I guess it's better than nothing if they do send some Lings across. Pairs everything up now. It's only 4 Hellions, really not scary. Why is it only 4 Hellions? Well, because we've already moved on to barracks production. A Ling managed to slip in as that 4th Hellion, I guess, ran off from its natural. Want to do bigger and better things. This is going to be an offensive Hellbat attack, not again on 2 bases, but rather on a 3rd with the 2-1-1. It's just that little extra to the attack that can technically win a game. Shouldn't win it straight out. Was this what he did? It might have been. This actually might have been the version he did versus eggs last week. I can't remember now. But either way, we'll see if it works. See if eggs is a little underprepared. He might be starting to prepare for the 2 racks itself, because he did scout that with the Ling getting in. Or the 2 racks, a 2-on-1. But he doesn't know about the armory. Thank you, MadMark13, for the Prime sub, by the way. And I also suspect this will be going into an 8 racks. Just because it ain't broke, don't fix it. Eggs is up to 65 drones. He's got 1-1 on the way. He does not know about the drop or the Hellbats again. So he knows about the drop. He knows the 2-1-1, hitting around 530. He knows about that. He does not know about the Hellbats. And those so far are undetected. Now they transform. And does eggs have the appropriate army to defend against this? I would say not. 6 queens, 23 lings, 22 more on the way. That hatchery is going to have to be canceled. At least buying the time. So this isn't going to go for the throat so much. Still no banelings out defend against this. Is kind of sucky, though. Not unexpected. Needs that Ling surround, need the queens to help out. You can see FoxeR knows that this might seem good for him. Nothing but Lings and queens against Marine Hellbat, but that's a lot. It is a lot of Ling Queen. The fight would not go totally his way. He is going to preserve the units rather than forcing more damage done. Happy with the canceled hatchery. You feel a lot more confident dealing with that with banelings now they are done. That's kind of what the attack is hoping to find, is that the baneliness is not done. and they do not react in time. Is it the 8 racks again? We got 2 more barracks on the way, so TBD, drilling claws off of just the 1 factory. Interesting. Priority on that. And then also armory upgrade already. I don't know, I'm feeling the 4th CC actually this game. Hellions are alive, and that is going to be helpful. Clearly, eggs. He's been setting up the run-bys every single game, and I think those are all great ideas, but FoxeR has been handling the run-bys really well. And he is once again going to be handling them well. Those Hellions staying alive is super helpful. Great attack over on that left side where Eggs had replaced his 4th. Now that's dead and gone. Gonna have to wait even more for a 4th base to actually properly saturate. 67 drones is okay for now, I suppose, but again, it's not actually even appropriately saturating, and he will want more very soon. 1-1 is done for the Zerg. 1-1 on the way for FoxeR. FoxeR just taking what he can get. Still no 4th CC, but second factory does come down. I think the 4th is on location. There you go. Yep. So not going to be the 8 racks. He wasn't feeling it so much after the opener that he chose. And if it's not the 8 racks, I wonder if he will even faster go into late game. I know that sounds kind of weird, but basically decide right now, okay, I'm not really going to be super aggressive. I'm not looking for the attack to win the game. I'm looking to get my 4th. I'm looking to get my 5th. I'm looking to get to my planetaries and sense towers and all that good stuff. With the 3rd engineering bay, oh God, I'm feeling the turtle. Jesus. It's interesting. Interesting 3rd engineering bay. He does see an opportunity to attack, though. I mean, there's not any creep spread, so continues running forward. Now draws back into the tank. Tank gonna take down quite a few banelings before it goes. And off of creep, I'm not sure Eggs really wants to continue. Burrow banelings! Did FoxeR notice? I'm not sure that he did. There are scans available. I don't think he noticed. Ooh. Very quick burrow. I'm liking the play here from Eggs. His hive is on the way. 2-2 is almost done. Pretty significant lead on those upgrades. So while Eggs has struggled to get to a 4-base economy, he is finally there. Moving on to 5. 85 drones as well. And his technology is going to be done. So he doesn't have, you know, maxed out army. Doesn't have that much of a bank. Doesn't have a lot of creep spread. But he's starting to get to a good location for a Zerg player. Especially one that has taken so long to get to a 4th hatch. FoxeR is maxed out. But there is the 4th finishing. There's now also a 5th on the way. There's those extra barracks. The thing is, FoxeR will not be getting to the late game that much faster than his opponent. Last game, the pacing was so out of whack. FoxeR had so much time to get to whatever he wanted to really get to turtle mode, you know? I'll get to my ghost eventually. I get to my libers eventually. I get to my planetaries eventually. This time around, it's going to be a little... Oh, God, that's such a good fungal. Jesus. Oh, no. Oh, no. And that's when FoxeR never moves out again. It's like I knew this was cursed. Triple drop on the right, finding a little more success. But if he wasn't already thinking about turtling, I think he is now. It's just that Eggs is not in such dire straits. He is getting to his hive. Ultras, Spire, Greater Spire, all the upgrades. Chitinous plating, not as a desperate tactic, but rather preparation into getting into the late game Ultras. FoxeR is on 4 bases. Great. He's not going to easily get to a 5th, easily get to a 6th. This is going to be far more of a contest. And now we're going to really see what the late game looks between the two. Is FoxeR's late game turtling better than Egg's late game breaking turtle? And this is also something that the patch has tried to kind of address as well. Not sure it actually has, but it's kind of tried. 2-2 versus 2-2. The Marines do decide to stand their grounds. With more banelings forming, or those I think were the burrowed banelings popping up. And he's forced to flee. Kind of rushing it a little too eagerly, so he's always like running back and losing some Widow Mines and stuff. It is important that he keeps this up, although I think ultimately his plan is to turtle similar to last game. I think it is important to keep up the double drops. Make sure that the Zerg players do not out-expand and out-drone and just take the whole map. And the double drop starting to find a lot of success. Right side gets another hatchery, left side gets a couple of drones. All while FoxeR continues to expand, forced to scan, but he is getting a fifth base at this point. Banelings finish up and that drop on the right. Not quite done. Not quite. FoxeR. Ooh, little micro. He's close to max, and he's kind of feels like he's setting up for the long haul, so using some of his energy into the micro. Wouldn't mind splatted around, getting some decent shots. More importantly, they are scouting, so may want to get the heck out of there. Ultras on chitinous plating, not quite 3-3. But 40 seconds away from that. Ghost count, 0. 2 are on the way. Liberator count, 0. 2 are on the way. FoxeR feeling a little late to getting to that true late game technology. That is so many changelings. Attack in on the 3rd as well as onto the 5th, but FoxeR actually was able to scout that by the looks of things, or just either he scouted something or he noticed the lack of army on the front. But good split of the army right there from FoxeR, who is now trying to tackle this Ultra army with basically just Bio that is getting increasingly more injured. Medivacs are out of energy. FoxeR, though, he did handle the right side run by and decides to use that defensive army to then attack. Gets another cancel on the hatchery, decides to go for a little bit more. Eggs forced to pull entirely back is a nice thing for FoxeR. He gets room to breathe, room to build Liberators, siege up Liberators, room to build Ghosts, have them in the hotkeys and ready to snipe. Maybe even add even more Sim City. His 5th planetary not quite done. Maybe another command center here as well. FoxeR's actually going to be more aggressive. Maybe he did think about that last game and say, I think I have more opportunities. But I don't, this actually is, it's like, last game I would have loved if he had moved out more like this, but this game I'm like, I don't know. And yeah, he moves out and gets immediately repelled. Eggs does have a bit of a bank, does have the ability to reinforce, and does have an army that is pretty good about jumping on a Terrans. Why did that Ultra die? Did anyone see that? I don't know. Moving on from that one. Planetary is here, and it might hold. FoxeR has a lot more army on the right side to deal with. His army responding to the right as he sees the planetary holding on the left. He does lift the bases, or he could lift all of them. Yeah, he does. He's going to save every single one. Oh, it was sniped? Really? Oh, you're right. Yeah, I didn't even notice that ghost. There's an Ultra, then suddenly there was a carcass. FoxeR saves his bases. Loses 22 SCVs, but bases alive is very important. Does need to get to gas. Replacing SCVs. Shark Festers. Oh my god, the Shark Festers! Oh, barely do not get the fungal. Immediate EMP on them as well. That could have been game ending. Instead, it turns around. Eggs forced to flee. And FoxeR will probably build a missile turret or two. Obviously is trying to scan ahead to make sure he doesn't get fungled, but even with all the command centers, there's only so many scans. Back on the left side, that planetary is under fire. Love the additional Sim City to try and help against the Ultras, but enough Banelings this time ensure the destruction. The Ghost's going to take down the Ultras, however, so certainly not for free from Eggs, who is not out of control in the economy. But he does just take down another planetary, and that is maybe worth it. It is a question, though. I mean, if Eggs was 2,000, I'd say definitely worth it, but it's kind of the fickle position for both players right now. The Terran is definitely not totally turtled in yet, and the Zerg player is not totally ready to just go wave after wave after wave of engagements. And it can happen where the Zerg player is like, yeah, I got him on the ropes, let's fucking go, and then they try and rebuild, and there's nothing in the bank. You don't want that to happen. FoxeR not able to preempt these engagements anymore is really his main problem. His army is not ready. It's much later to responding in these last couple of fights too. And that is a lot of the reason why Eggs is finding these moments. Fungal is going to cancel all of those snipes, and that is a lot of ghosts to lose. He can't save any. The Corruptors take down the Medivac that was trying to save them anyway. And Eggs, he is managing to find all the weak points. Stop FoxeR before he gets 5 bases with Sim City. Another orbital is going to bite the dust, although a lot of army is as well. Eggs gonna lose some more Ultras. Only 4 Medivacs. His army is always so weak. All those ghosts that died means that there's not that incredible ghost count on the counterattack. I think Eggs is very close to winning this game. Lings just running down the middle of the map. They are cracklings. No, they're not. They are 3-3, though. So still pretty damn scary. FoxeR full sends it. He does get a base. He does tackle some of the army. Don't forget, eGGZ has Corruptors in the sky, which I think are helpful for now. They can help kill the medevacs, of which there are already so few, but they can sometimes look like useless supply as well. Gotta be careful. This is a very injured bio army. A Shark Fester is just waiting for that scan to deplete to go in for the fungal. More fungals on the backside. He is going to get a fungal. 2 fungals. Yes, indeed. And that army was so weak from earlier that it's all it really needed. FoxeR. I feel like he was centimeters. Centimeters. I'm using meters and I'm American. He was centimeters away from getting to that really oppressive Turtle Terran 6-base setup, where they also get sensor towers and liberators and chokes, and they can always react in time to all these engagements. He was so close. And eGGZ was right to continue pushing. Did not give up the aggression. Started taking better and better fights. Started dealing more and more economic damage. And now he just needs to finish it off. It's 70 supply difference. I'm no longer as concerned about eGGZ running out of army and running out of bank. FoxeR's not going to give up. Only a 30 army supply difference. Still has orbitals, bases to spread around, and that's exactly what he's doing. Knows that he's been able to keep eGGZ off of these 2 bases to the bottom left as well. I mean, eGGZ is actually only mining off of 2 bases. Similar to FoxeR's setup. Look at the actual income. Overall, very much eGGZ-sided, but then starting to get a little closer. Measure it in French fries. He was 1 French fry length away from being the Turtle Terran. eGGZ, I guess, still does have to be careful, okay? So I guess I'm not totally unafraid for eGGZ at this point. 1 bad engagement from eGGZ could recover FoxeR's position. Orbital's gonna have to lift some Marines on the backside. It was kind of random. Actually cost-efficiently trading with Banelings. All the SCVs died as well. We still don't have Crackling, but I guess maybe we don't need it. Wouldn't mind it. eGGZ still holds on to this mining base and this mining base, but, you know, you feel better if he had these mining bases. I still don't think eGGZ can lose, but this is FoxeR's MO today. Very clutch games. 7 Ghosts, 3 Liberators, 8 Medevacs. I'm liking that count much better. 3-3 to 3-3. Let's see here. He's got 6 orbitals still. Damn. So he does have the scans to try and not get infested. Ultra trying to go for run buys, but this time around, FoxeR has not only defended with Marines, he defended with Marauders and Ghosts, getting those snipes, punishing these tiny run buys, while trying to keep up the aggression on the offensive. FoxeR starting to bank minerals, actually. I guess he's been mule dropping, but not saturating his gases. Uh-oh. He does need to take a breath and saturate them so he can start building Marauders and Ghosts again. This base suddenly somehow in trouble. Infestor does get a couple of fungals. Enough Corruptors, I gotta say, to take down Liberators. Plenty of those. Medevac's not getting the hell out of dodge because eGGZ was also attacking on the left side, of which FoxeR had to micro. And it looks like FoxeR is not going to get a foothold in this game. I can't believe this feels like a game in which a Terran is desperately only on 2 orbitals. And he does have 6. Managing to save them every time. Top right base now taken by eGGZ. He's getting the corners, and I think eGGZ is now maybe... Well... I was gonna say that there's no way he can lose, but just every time... I'm like, but what if? But what if? I mean, how much army supply are in Corruptors? There are 14 Corruptors on the field. Now, Medevacs are important, and the Corruptors are, you know, kind of countering the Medevacs. It's a weird phrase, but sure. But they're not going to kill the ground army. If Eggs loses his ground army, which I guess is possible, 2 Ultras, 4 Infestors, 2 Banelings, 32 Lings, the Corruptors do not beat the ground army. They do not shoot down. Quay, is there a possibility? Is there really? EMP instead of the snipe that was going to fail anyway. Yeah, Banelings, Concave, Jesus. Oh, the Light Ghost. Oh, the Light Ghost. They don't tank like they used to. Fungal goes down. Some Infestors will escape. FoxeR, he's going to kill so many Corruptors. Not even, actually. The Corruptors are like, well, fuck that. Let's go pee on some buildings. We're super cool. I have believed for the last 5 minutes, at least, right, that there is no way for FoxeR to make a comeback. I still believe that. There is no way for FoxeR to make a comeback. They want me to doubt myself, these two. And, you know, this time around, FoxeR is on the losing end, but last game it was Eggs. You look at the supply. There's really only one answer. And this is it. This is finally it. The Zerg Swarm is here. FoxeR will not get his 3-0. And we are going to go into a game 4. I feel like FoxeR was just thinking about life for a second there. GG's. Fantasy GG timing. Well, not going to disagree, but Fantasy was a great player. Both of them getting their own Fantasy GGs. Both of them getting into the super late game with a disadvantage. I don't think FoxeR got to the late game with a disadvantage. I just don't think he had an advantage, which was, you know, game 2, he absolutely had an advantage. Game 3, it was much more even. There was absolutely going to be a chance for Eggs to break open the turtle shell. And in that game, FoxeR was not turtly enough for the Turtle Club. Anyway. We'll stroll down memory lane after the intros. Top left of Persephone now. It is FoxeR still leading the series 2-1. And the bottom left, it is Eggs. Doa? No. No, this was like a GM Zerg. He did play in some tournaments, but he wasn't really tournament focused. No, it wasn't Destiny. Yeah, he had a couple like meme videos with some other content creators. But I feel strongly like his name was related to Toxin or Venom. Anyway, doesn't matter. I remember Force Strategy quite a lot, though. I watched so many of his videos. This guy also wasn't a caster, by the way. So, or, you know, he wasn't like I guess like an on-stage commentator. But yeah, somehow I missed like I really did miss the Apollo Total Biscuit. I kind of was like, I definitely was watching like Bitter Dam. As I said, I didn't really, you know, watch a lot of Husky or HD. And not because like I didn't like them, I just don't remember watching them. You know, I don't remember particularly like strong feeling about it. It wasn't Vibe, no. This was before Vibe. Was I guess a content creator himself. Anyway, so I didn't have a lot of nostalgia for them either. You know, I did absolutely watch GSL though. I mean, like most people, you know, like Tasteosis are my favorite for a while. And then oh my god, I mean, what was the next wave of commentators? I always thought In Control was a good one. I always thought he was really fun. When I start watching more, you know, of the mainstream like broad, when things started to consolidate, right? Like it became easier to track the bajillion tournaments that were happening. I did start to watch a lot more Apollo. Obviously, I thought he was great. God, God, who else? I thought Total Biscuit was great, but I never like subbed to his YouTube or anything. Oh God, I'm trying to think of all the casters from the good old days. The ones that actually appeared like on stage at least a little bit, you know. As we have Totally Normal, TVZ happening before us. FoxeR is going to go into third CC again. His Hellbent attack, I thought it was good. You know, I thought it did basically what it should. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It did what it should, I would say, and I even liked his follow-up quite a bit. I think he was keeping track of eggs' hatcheries quite nicely. I really thought he was suppressing eggs on that 4 base, stopping him from getting to a 4th base, and it just was a matter of kind of letting it go to a certain degree, a little over-aggression on the non-creep points, so that while the creep was missing, FoxeR didn't always have the prime engagements anyway. And Infestors. I mean, Infestors really did help make that kind of comeback that was necessary for that particular point. And it was a fair enough late game, I thought, but FoxeR initially fantastic at deflecting, preempting the attacks. One attack not preempted turned into another attack not prepared for, turned into another attack not prepared for, and it really did snowball from there. I don't know if we'll have as long of a game on Persephone, but it is possible. Another 2-1-1 follow-up for FoxeR. Is it going to be the Armory follow-up as well? I actually wouldn't mind it, but, you know, you don't usually do that twice in a row. Own 3D. Don't click the... I mean, I don't know if it's now spam or something, but good old Own 3D. Yeah, I liked Great Torp and Frodan, actually. I liked basically all the NASL guys. I wasn't as in love with the... Thing is, like, here's actually... I kind of could summarize things, couldn't I? The thing is, I was such a Korean fangirl that I was also like an elitist, snooty Korean fangirl when it came to everything. The Korean players were better. The Korean broadcast was better. The Korean casters were better. All you other guys suck. Another, you know, the international person I followed was the guy who even had this opinion himself, Idra. He was like a Korean light. So that definitely like skewed my early years of StarCraft, because so many people were very like attached to the international stage. They weren't as attached to the Korean one, and I was all on the Korea, man, all in on it. It is going to be the Armory build once again. A little mess up on the build though, hey. But also different. Eggs, very importantly, is going into a Roach Warren. Big change up from eggs. Also, unfortunate news for FoxeR, who has decided to go into the Hellbat attack again. The one that wants to find Ling Queen, and not a lot of it, and certainly no Banelings, is instead going to find some amount of roaches, which, you know, 16 Marines could still kill, sure, but it's usually not the ideal setup. Roaches are going to show themselves in just 1 second. I don't know if Eggs realized what build it was. You know, it was the 3rd CC. He did not know the exact build, but he's probably preparing for 5.5 minutes. Does need a couple of extra roaches, though. That is just a lot of Terran. He's not supply blocked. That's a little concerning. Nah. No combat shields, no 1-1. The roaches and the queens all packed together is going to be enough. FoxeR acknowledges it, gets the heck out, manages to save the Hellions as well. Use them for something else in the future. Drop in the main, better than nothing. Use it now as the drop and not as the attack. And now also be very wary of the 1-1 Roach all-in, which it does seem like Eggs is going to be building up to. No Station Pit on the way. Gases are necessary just for like a lot of Roach Ravager, actually. He's still building a lot of it too. FoxeR has already, you know, honestly kind of underestimated the Roach Ravager follow-up. To be fair, that was after an all-in that failed from the Zerg, so that kind of made sense. Will he underestimate it in a more typical version of it? Okay, there's Invitation Pit on the way. I mean, he's gonna, I think, show the roaches, but he's not gonna go for the attack. But FoxeR has to be very wary of it. I mean, right now, generally the suggestion would be to take it as the 1-1 attack. He hasn't scouted anything else that tells him it's not that. And then the more that they don't attack you, the more they don't build Ravagers, the more that they get a hive, the more that you're like, okay, I understand. That said, I mean, FoxeR is, you know, not building any bunkers, which is actually fine. It's actually fine. This is not a big swell of maxed out Roach Ravager. It's not even any Ravagers. It is 1-1 to 0-0 though, and that is still concerning. As much as this isn't a big dedication from Eggs, he is finding a very good opportunity FoxeR actually probably should not have taken that battle. Maybe was focusing on the front with the drop. Needed to run back to his tank to help protect him. Now this puts him in a very ugly position. Because now Eggs, who wasn't, again, dedicating to the attack anyway, you know, now really has some freedom to add in all the macro elements. So he's going to go up to 80 plus drones. Already on 4 bases. Could grab a 5th. And he's going to get that hive. Where, you know, FoxeR was not supposed to lose that much army. Maybe he still had to lift the command center. I think that still is the case. But he certainly wasn't supposed to lose that army. It's going to take him even longer to get maxed out or close to maxed out. Greater Spire seems to be the goal here from Eggs. Timing that Spire out with the hive perfectly. Double drop. Warded away. Might see the incoming attack. This time around, tanks are sieged up. Upgrades are even. And yeah, that's not an attack I think Eggs really wants to commit to. FoxeR even saying, hey, you underestimated me. Gonna jump on top of this and hopefully not lose a medevac. Eggs does have some resources caught up in things that aren't helpful right here, right now. He's definitely gonna remember that healing shrine. But he still has a sizable army. And FoxeR is slipping a bit on the macro as far as that +2 armor has not begun. So the upgrades are going to be in Eggs' favor. Baneling Nest being added on too. A couple of Infestors. FoxeR's 4th base is on the way. Roach Ravager Infestor is just so good at holding. If anything else, it just buys a lot of time. Especially if you're going to do some run buys. FoxeR's 4th command center was canceled because of that. It was a cancel, not a kill, but still a lot of lost time. FoxeR is being kept pretty far behind in this game. Technology-wise, I mean, most likely a Terran gets to move out before Broodlords, even really fast Broodlords, to be honest. Like, they're just difficult to get to and afford. And it's kind of questionable if FoxeR will have that opportunity. Well, a little less questionable now. He decides to pick everything up in the medevacs that he has and just gun for it. That is a decision. That is a fucking ballsy decision. Corruptors are on the way. He did not know the Spire was already done, and that is a unfortunate sight, although it is only 2 Corruptors. And now he knows, probably, hey, you're going to go into Broodlords. Trying to take command of that high ground. The tanks, not all of them are going to be able to fire on this ramp. Banelings now crashing through, even without their speed, still with the help of the creep spread. And this is going to be taken care of. FoxeR, what damage did you really do right there? He did end up trading supply, so he says he's only down by 50, which should say it's actually better than what it looks like. Also gets just Marines running on down the right side to find a freebie hatchery. The more army goes down on the left. Medevacs are forced to entirely flee. 50 supply difference, talk about roaches, really isn't too bad. Although the upgrades are a sore point as well. But where the hell is it? Oh, there it is. There it is. There's the rest of FoxeR's army. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. One tank on the front is going to go down, but another tank has sieged up. And with that much army still ready, the Marines that sniped the hatchery also having returned home. Eggs is not going to find a counterattack. But he is going to have time to get to Broodlords. And currently there are 0 answers to Broodlords. Planetary is going to come up on the 4th for FoxeR, but what does he do against Broodlords? You know, last game we had Corruptors for a long time without any Broodlords, and maybe he's hoping that's the same here, so there won't actually be any. We're attacking before Broodlords. Let's find a tank. Here's the rest of the bio army. You know, you don't want to attack with the Roach Ravager and then have your Broodlords and totally underdefended. That would be questionable, but oh no, the AI split. FoxeR did not realize it because he's being attacked into his own natural. Some of the Infestor got in here. Tendencies have gone down. FoxeR, hoping for an engagement on the front, however, sees a very limited number of Zerg units, so the Broodlords aren't quite scary yet. If there's something to really tackle them, at least they don't kill things particularly fast. Now they are getting some killed Marauders. Army's getting disjointed. FoxeR kind of just every which way, not finding success anywhere. And this game has gotten away from him. Got away from him much earlier on, though. This is looking a lot more like last week's games between the two. Technically still on 4 bases, but FoxeR There's no answer to the Broodlords, of which there are now 7. So they're dealing enough. They body block too. Fungal there in case they are ever vulnerable. And this series will be tied up. And eGGZ has displayed a new way of tackling FoxeR's mid-game. His roaches have worked out quite well. GG's. eGGZ ties up the series 1 game to decide who qualifies. Meanwhile, the lower bracket, Maples and Mute, have been allowed to go. So they're currently battling it out in a best of 3. Well, I've got a lot of you and your attention. Just a reminder that this is all for Safe House, which is happening next weekend, October 18th and 19th, and that there are contribution codes, claim code right here. There's still some remaining. Honestly, it'd be very easy to use all these codes. All you got to do is sign in to Matcherino with whatever here, and then press this button, and then it works. So, no credit card required, nothing at all. Just Matcherino giving us some money in exchange for a little bit more of advertisement. So would very much appreciate that. Get them all used up. Looks like we had some big contributions to the Matcherino as well. Just want to shout that out after the introductions, assuming there's no 2 racks. I said that absolutely not believing it was going to be a 2 racks, but it actually might be a 2 racks. Oh, it's a forward supply depot. So 2 racks, not the one I was thinking of. In the top left, it is FoxeR. In the bottom right, it is eGGZ. Tied up 2-2. FoxeR is going to change up his build. Could be a 2 racks, could be a 3 racks. Find out. But yeah, thank you very much to people who are actually donating with their hard-earned cash. We got Grimmin, $25 contribution. Mango Rock, SC2, thank you so much for $100 into the Matcherino, all going to the players. Hopefully encourage them to keep on playing StarCraft and giving us great games. Bolstering that prize pool. Also, Athena Minerva, thanks for buying a Good Luck Have Fun t-shirt. Might be giving some of those away at the main event as well. Just something to really prove that you're a super StarCraft nerd. It's a very comfortable t-shirt, first of all. My #1 priority was getting the exact t-shirt that, believe it or not, Frost Giant gave us. There's one thing they did really well, was choose the shirt material. And then a bunch of StarCraft 2 phrases that only real StarCraft 2 fans would understand. You're a real StarCraft 2 fan? Name 10 random references from the StarCraft 2 pro gaming scene. Okay, so it is going to be just a 2 racks on the front. So 3rd racks would have been a cheese. Honestly, wouldn't have minded it though. But yeah, it's not going to be that. We could still have 5 Reapers with this, although most of the time you see it now, it's actually 2 or 3. All are actually, like, we've seen the full gamut, which I now know is different than Gambit. I have learned, I am a learned person. Anyway, of what the 2 racks can build, because Beyond did it a billion jillion times. eGGZ sees this opener and decides to go into a Roach Warren. This is interesting. Because it absolutely seemed like a response, the timing-wise. This isn't actually that good versus the 2 racks. Beyond, when he was only ever forward 2-racksing, he, you know, initially, when he was, like, experimenting with the build, initially he did die to some early Roach attacks, but then he basically figured it out, because people were like, oh, you're doing 2 racks, I'm going to do this. He had to figure out how to defend against early Roaches with this opener, and he did. So then it became kind of a trap. Zerg players would build Roaches against this, go and attack him, and he'd be like, aha, now I'm totally fine. Now, it's still a question, does FoxeR know how to defend it as well as Bjorn? He scans, which I love the scan. Something was up. While the Reaper opener can stop the 3rd hatch, it didn't go for that priority. Just kind of checked once, and didn't check again, so it didn't stop that. But if the Zerg player is doing something sneaky, you want to know, and maybe not sacrificing a Reaper in the process. I mean, nothing really told him on the front, I would say, that it is something sneaky, but it's good that he scanned. 2 bunkers are coming down on the front. I think this is kind of the trick to it. Like, I think initially there was defenses behind the wall, and then the Ravager player would just be like, well, fair enough. I guess I'll just kill your wall and make it really gross and weird. And then Bjorn started to just build the bunkers on the front. And then, yeah, obviously Reaper control, grenades to buy time, and then whatever else he could muster out of the production that's already here. So this is not really committed anyway by Eggs. He's been building drones alongside some army. So I'm not really worried about FoxeR's ability to defend. If anything, I'd be more worried about Eggs doing this. You know, such an early Roachmore and actually building Ravagers and not finding anything to do with it. Technically, 2 bunkers were created in response, so that's a delay on something. Gas was more of the restriction for the starport. 3rd CC, probably further delayed. He could salvage these at this point. He doesn't know if there's a bigger follow-up, though, to be fair. He technically never saw there was a 3rd hatch, actually. Doesn't want to be bamboozled. Gonna go into, I mean, not a quick lair, but lair follow-up. And, yeah, FoxeR could. He just doesn't know it. He's gonna play this very safe. He's gonna grab a Banshee. Thing is, I say safe. Even without the interruption of building the bunkers and getting 2 Cyclones, like, the build kind of calls for something to do with the starport before medevacs, because you just don't have 16 Marines a lot of the time. In this case, he would, but... Oh, he's gonna go into a Raven.
SCV ready.
Interesting. Huh, okay. 3rd CC is on the way. Marines... It looks like they're scouting for a Nidus, although technically they're still missing something. There he goes, he fixes it. Yeah, definitely looking for a Nidus. He doesn't want to use a scan again. Because if this is Eggs macroing, I mean, we are talking about hurting your own macro with a scan. FoxeR would like to know if it is going to be Roach-based play. We know that it is. +1 missile is on the way. Roach speed is on the way. FoxeR would like to know, but right now, the safest thing to do is go into tanks first. If it ends up being Ling-based, like you could go into Widowmines after. But tanks first is the safe play. Sims on combat shield's on the way with 1-1. About the same time as Eggs is 1-1. These upgrades are going to be very important as the game continues. FoxeR, despite not knowing actually what his opponent is doing, is being awfully aggressive without medevacs. This is so scary to me. He scans, sees the army. Yeah, it's not very mobile. But, this is the type of courage I do not have, I guess. Does supply block Eggs as well. Overlords are on the way. Once these Cyclones get some great lock-ons. Not quite able to kill anything as of yet. And the Raven is being used to clear up creep spread. Auto turret's also decent. Anti-armor missile actually could be very, very good. Very good against the Roach attack. This is almost looking more and more like he is specifically gearing up for the Roach play. It's a good thing it is Roaches, because this is, I think, all good signs for FoxeR, who was the one that struggled last game. Eggs went into the infestation pit. He did not go into the full supply max Roach 1-1 attack, but I think this time he is going to go for it. He is continuing to build Roaches, continuing to build Roaches. FoxeR needs some defenses around his 3rd. I would love the bunkers. He is supply blocked right now. The bunkers are coming in, but are they too late? We've got Lings going into the natural too. FoxeR, he does get the anti-armor missile off. That is so freaking effective. 2 tanks now firing away. Medivacs, not very high number, but apparently good enough. The anti-armor missile just made those Roaches disappear so much better. FoxeR, though, still light on the unit count. Cyclones coming in to try and help out. Lings in the natural were cleared. 10 SCVs have gone down. FoxeR losing too many units by the looks of things. He's going to have to lift his 3rd CC. This is something he did not want to do. He wanted to defend at that 3rd, and he is not capable of doing so. Now he's just rallying units in to certain death. FoxeR going to be broken by the Roaches once again. And Eggs has found the solution. What a Best of 5, man. This tank's a goner. FoxeR, unfortunately, is a goner. He has played so many super long games today, and he will be forced to play more. Perhaps a bit of a weakness overall to the Roach play, I'm not sure, but... I did think he was prepping for it almost exclusively. The anti-armor missile, the consistent tank production, still not maybe expecting the strength that it is. You know, generally we see more so like you kind of detect it is roaches. Your first fear is that it's the all-in. So you set up very defensively. Tank here, tank there. Marines behind, you know, waiting for the bunkers to finish. All like, you know, a Sim City to protect him as well. It was kind of an earlier attack from eGGZ. He didn't wait till he was maxed out. He didn't wait till he had a bajillion Ravagers. So that probably screwed with FoxeR's timing too. But then FoxeR, you know, did dedicate to the engagement rather than saying, okay, let's just play it super safe and back away, which maybe was the right call. But that is going to be it. eGGZ takes the qualification spot. Will once again be in Safe House. And FoxeR has to go face the winner of Maples versus Mute.